Please like and subscribe to the Couch and the Rube YouTube channel. Also download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube.
Welcome to Couch and the Rube, our Monday show, presented by our friends at Muskox Quality Flannels. It is Muskox season. March is Muskox season. If you're thinking about the hoops, March Madness, going to a sports bar, going to a game, you're not going to need a jacket. You just need a Muskox flannel. Look your best, feel your best. Even if you got a busted lip, like your Kur Teng after a game like that, you got a Muskox flannel, everybody thinks that busted lip looks pretty damn cool. You got extra little extra layering on your body, Muskox flannel takes care of that too. Before you lose the weight, go with a Muskox flannel. Look your best, feel your best. You will enjoy the quality and difference with a Muskox flannel. Go to gomuskox.com, where Couch and the Rube listeners can get $15 off a Muskox flannel with the promo code Peacock at gomuskox.com. Jason, how you doing, brother? I do hear your voice in my head when I take a shit.
Yeah, we don't have enough time for all of that.
Let's go green, go God.
What's up, buddy? You ever had a busted lip?
I have.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you look cool?
No, I did not.
Yeah. Not as cool as Kur Teng.
No.
Were you just staring at it in the locker room when you were talking to him?
A little bit, because I was thinking I'm going to write this in my lead, and I need to know everything I can about this busted lip.
Yeah.
I need to make it awkward, if I can stare a little longer.
Right.
And really get the feel of what Kur Teng is feeling right now. By the way, I just jammed my thumb against between the chair here and the...
Sounds familiar, at least.
Yeah. Not like sweet the national championship's on. Oh, I can't wait for this. It just happens. I just broke my chair for real.
At least you didn't break the chair.
That's a good point.
That's always key.
I think I would move it and not tell Jeff and Suzanne here.
If you broke the chair?
Yeah, I would just put a
but
different
it would
one
make
in
a
place.
loud pop. We would all know it.
Mm.
You'd be sitting like half sideways on it.
I would blame Eblinger.
So you lie.
I would blame Eblinger or Michael Patrick Shields.
I gotta say.
I think I could get away with it.
God, now that I think about it, that poor fucking chair over there thing takes a beating.
I don't even think it would be my fault. I don't even think.
Damn. Pound for pound, is there a chair in the greater Lansing area that takes a bigger beating on a daily basis? Thankfully, Ebling only does like once a week on here. But
July show.
Wow. MPS, you.
Yeah.
Laying the hammer down. Never thought about it that way. Anyway, good to see you, buddy.
You too, man.
Yeah, how was Indiana, the trip there?
It was good.
Did you come back yesterday or what?
I came back late last night and then wrote the column when I got back. So,
look at this guy.
Yeah.
Crushing tape at midnight.
There's no good way to do travel on a Sunday late afternoon game. You can stay there overnight. I hate waking up Monday in a different place, especially when we're doing a show on Monday. So it was like, right. I want to get back. I'd rather not. I'd rather work at 2 a.m. than drive at 2 a.m. Just seems safer.
I got you.
So
smart.
That's what I did. And it was an interesting trip. Like I think a lot of people have changed their expectations of this team just a little bit. I think it's altered what people think they can do again. And it's always, from my standpoint, when March is beginning and people are fired up about the team, it's so much more fun than the other way around. When people are like, this team's not going anywhere, it's a short run.
Is that your first hot take?
No.
When things are going well here, these shows are fun and everybody loves reading your stuff.
Yeah, it's fun to see people engaged. And people think I don't care what happens. Like, from that standpoint, I do, and I do enjoy the heck out of March. I love a long March Madness run. And it is fun to see guys like Kur Teng, who I've gotten to know a little bit and got to know his story a little bit, his parents' story, and have written about that. You can find at lsj.com. But he's a good kid. He's just a good guy, and this is everything everything he wanted before the season. And sometimes he is he's only a sophomore, so there's time that he's not a blue chipper, right? He played barely last year, but he's clearly got some skills that are high end in terms of pure shooting and ability to rise up. And defensively, athletically, there are some limitations there that will prevent him from ever being a really good two-way player, I think. but you can be an attentive two-way player, and I think he's that. And you can be somebody. I think the most important player who plays for Izzo is the guy who can take it from Izzo and then go drain 3 straight threes.
He's
like
a bull in a china closet.
If Izzo getting at you, getting after you, and what he says and more how he says it is something that puts you into a shell or rattles your confidence, then you're in the wrong program. And the fact that, he gave up some points, didn't have a great start, then comes in and hits 3 straight threes, not easy threes. One was, late in a shot clock bailout. Then he had to rise up over a defender play, and then he's in a groove and hit another. Like, I don't know. I think his mentality is pretty tough, and that bodes well for what Michigan State.
And it was good to see, but the frustration with Kur Teng is that we wanted to see it earlier on in the year, 100%. And it just took a while to get there. Sure. And I think that's a lot of the frustrations. We talk about, see everybody overreacting, and now you know what Izzo does in these times. Like, we knew that, but it's just frustrating when you're watching this team game in, game out, and then you have a 2-day window, there's no game, so you want to talk about it. You're just frustrated at some of these things. We all know these guys are good guys. We don't need to be told that, right?
Well, some guys aren't good guys. I mean, not on this team, but sometimes there are guys who aren't good guys.
Of course, but I'm saying on this team currently, we know that a lot of these guys, unless you hear stories elsewhere, but currently what we know is that they are all good guys. And with Kur Teng, the frustrating part is we wanted to see that couple weeks ago, maybe, but it's great to see now. Hey, it's great to see now, but I think that's what where the frustration lies sometimes.
No, 100%. Like when he does what he did against Kentucky in the Champions Classic, it's like, why not that being consistently
where
who you are?
Where does that go?
Right.
You show 100%. That a little bit, and it's just kind of that's where the frustrating part. Jaxon Kohler with a great game. Yesterday, it's great to see that. It's not like anybody's given up on Jaxon Kohler. It's just frustrating when you see him play poorly sometimes. So.
And I think one of the things that's interesting about a guy like Teng is because of his defensive deficiencies, right? Like in Izzo's program, that's always going to be an issue at times. And I think that also dictated some of his season. It also helped lead to the rise of Jordan Scott, which has been a worthwhile endeavor. He does not have those defensive efficiencies. The best news for Michigan State present day about Kur Teng is that this didn't come out of nowhere. Like if you look at his last 4 games, or like he's had 3 threes or more and shot 40% or better in a game 7 times this season. They're 7-0, and 3 of those 7 games are in the last 4 games. So it's not like this was a performance that looked like something he did once in January. Now 6 for 8's a lot, but it's not just that he hits shots. Like it's one thing to hit shots. Jordan Scott can hit shots. Jaxon Kohler can hit shots. They're good shooters, but there is a rise up ability in difficult, with somebody on you, and if Kur Teng gets going, he's got, like on the offensive end, as a shooter, he's got a pro skill, a pro look. Now, he's not, I don't think, ever going to be a pro at the NBA level because he's not a complete enough player. But he's got one skill that can be at that level, and you see it the way he rises up to let it go, and that's helpful for Michigan State, obviously. So, yeah, no, it was a good trip. It was,
So 3 seed guaranteed, right? We're talking about that, guaranteeing the 3 seed, though.
I think
said that last Friday, right?
So, and this goes into, I got a couple takes on MSU. You want me to just do them?
Go for it. I thought we're into it.
We're sort of doing them. Yeah.
Come on. How long have we been doing these hot take shows? I thought we agreed,
not to define them.
Just get in them and just let's talk,
Okay. Well, a couple things. One, I'll start with a seeding thing here. I think if you look at the bracket matrix right now, they're a 3 seed, right? So they have moved on to the 3 seed. I don't think it's and they're not going to lose to Rutgers at home. So the real only, and I don't know if there's a threat beyond that, because losing to Michigan on the road is not really going to bump you. Gonzaga losing was huge. Losing at St. Mary's, that may have bumped them to a 4. That was really, really big. Not having a team like Virginia, who got pounded by Duke, like pull an upset against Duke or something like that, important. But Purdue is still ahead of Michigan State. Nebraska, Purdue, Nebraska, Michigan State are like 9, 10, 11 in the bracket matrix. Like that's how, and Kansas is 12. Those are the 3 seeds right now. So they're all right there. I think the frustration for people, Illinois is then 8 right above them. It's all Big Ten teams right there. I think the frustration for people, it's like, how does what we've just seen from Purdue, what we've seen from Illinois, how does Iowa State losing not affect them more? What you have to remember is the way the NCAA Tournament Committee judges now is the body of work is what happens in a game in November is no different than now. You have to look at I think you see something that happens this late in the year and you want it to mean more. And that's part of the reason the Big Ten tournament doesn't mean a lot. Part of it's the timing.
Watching Purdue, man,
they don't look good.
It's tough
right
to
now.
not take that into account.
So, and
4 games in a row.
This is where I disagree with it, because I do think your last 10 games should matter a little more. I don't think it should be too heavily weighted, but I think who you grow into in a season should matter. Who you are as the tournament approaches. They take injuries into account. Certainly, if Kenyon Martin breaks his leg, that affects Cincinnati. Who you are at the end of the season should absolutely matter, and that's a 2000 reference for our younger crowd. Sorry. But so I disagree with that to an extent, because I think Purdue is playing pretty poorly right now. I think they had a hangover and they ran into a desperate Ohio State team, and so they did not look great coming off the Michigan State game, in which they played okay in that game. They shot the ball pretty well, and but as long as Michigan State's a 3, I think that's a fair seed when you look at the teams above them: Illinois, Ohio, or Iowa State, Houston on the 2 line right now, Connecticut, Arizona, Michigan, Duke on the 1. I think a 3 is a fair thing for this Michigan State team. Now, if they were to beat Michigan on the road, the conversation shifts, because that's the best win in college basketball other than what Wisconsin did, and they have a much better overall resume than Wisconsin. So if you've done that, then you start to look at the 2 and you say, why wouldn't you be a 2? So if there's an opportunity still there. There's an opportunity early in the Big Ten tournament to make some noise and do that. But I think they are a 3 seed, as long as – what I don't know is if you lose to Michigan and then you lose on Friday to Wisconsin, say, in a 3-6 matchup, what does that do to you on the 3 line? If they can win Friday and get to Saturday, I think they're probably pretty safely on the 3 line. That said, you don't know 100% what the committee's thinking. So the other thing I was going to bring up was, I think the best thing that's happened for Michigan State right now is there is a level of, I think we found a level of being able to trust what this team is going to bring night in and night out. If you think back to like North Carolina and Fort Myers, those games where they won at North Carolina and East Carolina, and pre-Christmas, there was a real period of time where you knew you were getting a certain effort and level of performance from Michigan State. And I think people grew to trust it, and it was impressive early on. They were further ahead than some other teams, and they lost a bit of that, right? And part of that was because I think they hadn't dealt with difficult road environments. Part of that's a long season. You're going to hit this slumps, guys ebb and flow. But I think that is returned, and the fact that some of that's come with a little more offensive efficiency and the potential for offensive efficiency, and you can see how they can be a really difficult out, I think has changed the way people think about this team's potential. I still think the top of college basketball is ferocious, and it's hard to imagine them winning a national title and winning 6 games, but it's less hard to imagine them knocking off one great team and getting to the Final Four. And once you're there, you're there, and I know at some point people want Izzo to take that step and not just get to the Final Four, but win one. It's hard to get there. If you get there, you deal with that problem then, and there are going to be some hard steps before then. But I just think there is a little bit more offensive efficiency. There is a little more hope for that, and there's a little more trust that's being rekindled.
Jordan Scott, off game, concerns? No,
foul trouble. Same with Carson Cooper. I mean, the foul trouble just derailed those guys. It derailed those.
God, they were calling ticky-tack.
I was thinking about this.
Brutal.
I was like,
hey, high knees.
This is why they shouldn't have prop bets for kids in college. Because think about this. Like, I don't know what Carson Cooper's prop bets were yesterday, but think about, like, if you bet Carson Cooper an over and then the guy plays like 12 minutes because he's in constant foul trouble, the refs call a game a certain way, you're totally screwed. It's not even,
welcome to gambling.
Yeah.
It happens in the NBA when I do Pistons single game parlays and fucking Isaiah Stewart gets tossed because he's throwing a punch at somebody, But yeah,
that's a little different though than the 5 fouls and the auto benches and
totally.
Stuff that goes
but you know what
college.
you're getting if you're betting
that's
these
fair.
things.
100%.
You have to understand that is a possibility. Everything's not going to go your way. It's whether or not you reach out to Carson Cooper or DM him and you can't handle yourself. Because believe me, at the Cognizant, the golf tournament, I was sweating both. I was watching the state game and the golf tournament. I just was locked into that. I was yelling at every golfer I had. Keith Mitchell and all those guys. But that's where it ends. Like, I'm not going to sit there and start firing. You owe me $300 or something like that. So
that is the key, right? I mean, it is. If you're gonna have fun with this stuff, I guess it's okay. But like, I just think that getting rid of prop betting in college, I don't want to get in that whole discussion. Getting rid of prop betting in college basketball would be smart, because I think there are more people.
I'm just sick and tired of getting rid of things because there's a certain faction of people, the 3% or whatever, that do send DMs to these guys. And you have to understand, as a college athlete, you're going to have to ignore some things. Yeah. And I understand if you want to expose those people on your social media platform, but I just think it would be so much easier, So what? So someone tells you to go fuck yourself in your DM, and like, all right, block this person forever and move on. Like, I don't know. I'm so annoyed that we have to get rid of things that we enjoy because of. This
is where you and I are different. I think we should get rid of almost everything in the world. Because
but I want to have some fun.
Yeah.
Before I die, said Sheryl Crow. Right? I mean, just saying. Why do we have to do all of these things because assholes can't handle certain things? It blows.
It does blow.
I'm sure people can't handle weed, but I don't know. It's legal. Some other, the rest of us can handle it. Whatever.
What is your first hot take?
Oh, yeah, the Lions, baby. David Montgomery, Graham. Traded. By the way, the Texans fleecing it. Brad Holmes fleecing the Texans. Because yesterday there was a rumor going around that we were shopping around David Montgomery for a 5th rounder. And, I get it. He's 29, but 5th rounder just seemed like a bummer kind of a trade. And I was like asking Grok if it was real. Because I was like, wait a minute. Because Montgomery was out on his Twitter and he was talking about, like, what's everybody talking about? And so I just had, I didn't recognize the guy that was originally starting the rumor about Montgomery being shopped around. So today when Ian Rappaport, that penis, he said that we did trade him for a 5th rounder. And thank God the other penis, Adam Schefter, penis versus penis battle here. But Schefter gave us the real details. Montgomery for a 4th rounder, offensive lineman Juice Scruggs, and a 7th rounder in 2027. Which I absolutely love that trade. Yeah. For a guy that's 29, I mean, listen, I wanted to keep Montgomery if it made sense for us to do so. But because I just don't think cutting him gave us this great cap space that we were, because I know that people think that you can replace a guy like Montgomery with certain, free agency or trying to draft a guy or Vacky or whatever. I mean, but I think Montgomery was a huge part of that offense. And the reason why, gave Jahmyr Gibbs a break on 3rd down, 3rd and shorts, you could pretty much guarantee he was going to fall over and get a 1st down for us. But and some say it's bittersweet, but we didn't win anything really with him. We didn't win a Super Bowl. It's not bittersweet in that aspect. I don't mind moving on if something's not working. But when you get there and you get the guy like Juice Scruggs, which apparently Dan Campbell loved him when he was drafted, he's at the end of his deal, so he's cheap this year, gives us a little depth, maybe some breathing room if he can come in and step up and a 4th rounder. So, I mean, does it suck that Montgomery's gone? I don't know. I'm not that bummed when you can fleece a team like the Texans like that. So, good on Brad Holmes.
Yeah, I like the haul they got.
But for a 5th rounder, I would have been like, all right. I would have been like, okay, but why? I don't know.
It's always depressing when you see what the value is of, like, especially the running back position. There are a lot of these trades for a 5th rounder. You're like, what's that 5th rounder actually going to be? And sometimes those guys turned out to be all right. But yeah, no, they did.
And I think Montgomery will play well. He'll be all right for Houston. I don't know about their offensive line. You put him behind any offensive line that's not any good, he's going to get exposed.
Yeah.
But, see you later, Montgomery, I guess.
It's too bad, but it's the reality.
It's a part of the NFL.
100%.
Not going to be able to keep all these guys.
What was the name of the running back they lost after 2022 or whatever that everybody loved?
Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams.
Like, he had 17 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And he wanted like $30 million a year or something. And it was like, dude, our offensive line made you that money. I mean, there's no way you're getting paid like that. Those guys were kind of different. You knew Jamal Williams was kind of interchangeable. But I just feel like a 1-2 with Gibbs and Montgomery, because you don't want Jahmyr Gibbs carrying the ball, 250 times in a season, do you?
No, you do have to. Now, but
with these injuries that pile up, I'm just saying, I just liked having Montgomery as that guy that could, take some snaps from.
But I like the move early, because now you need to find somebody to handle that Montgomery role, and you've got time to do it. This isn't like after the draft you do this or late or there's time.
I mean, there's pressing need. I mean, safety. What is going to happen there with Joseph and Branch? I mean, I know Branch is going to come back, but it's not till deep into the year. So yeah, there's a lot of things, but to get it over with early, I just don't know what the miscommunication with Montgomery, because it seemed like he had no idea that he was in trade talk. So
do you have any other takes? I got one more thing to throw
I do. I just wanted to talk about that Cognizant golf tournament, watching Shane Lowry. It was absolutely devastating, because if Shane would have ended up winning that, I would have won $200 more. But to watch him, I don't know if you saw the highlights of it, back-to-back double bogeys on 16 and 17, and Echevarria just coming back. I mean, the guy could putt like no other, and won that tournament when he thought he was out of it. I mean, Jacob Thalen, who listens to the show, was texting me. He had a Shane Lowry ticket, and he was like, after a loss, he's like, oh man, I knew I should have cashed out after the 15th hole. I'm like, dude, there is no way. Shane Lowry after 15, when he was on the 16th tee, was minus 5,000 to win the tournament. You know what I mean? That's like, there's no way you were cashing out, even though it would have given you 90% on your ticket maybe, but that's just the way golf is. And shout out to Shane Lowry. That's the thing we talk about, the Michigan State players being good guys. A lot of these golfer dudes, like, there's very rarely an asshole kind of golfer. And for Shane Lowry, I mean, anyone, I felt that way. I would just want to run to the locker room and just get out of there. He answered questions afterwards, and that's just golf. It's just unbelievable watching it in person, or not in person.
And I'm always
on TV, but
like golf, tennis, these sports where it's just you, where you got nobody else but your own head. I mean, I think that's.
I don't know how these guys do it. Period. Being golfers. Period. Hitting in front of all those people, and then having something like that where you double boat, you dunk one in the water, and then you had a 1-shot lead going into 17, and then you do it again. How you can even manage to swing another club? I don't know. Those guys are just unbelievable to me. These golfers.
I know the feeling though, and I tell you, lots of people have the feeling in life. If you like in writing, if you make a massive typo or massive mistake in a story, and it runs and it's brought up to you and it's too late to really fix, like, it kicks you in the gut in ways you want to leave the profession. Like, there are times I'll be like, I know this will pass, but for the next 12 to 24 hours, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I wonder if that's how it feels.
Well, it's a little bit different. You don't have a grandstand of maybe like 10,000 people. Like, imagine if you hit send, but then all of a sudden you were in like a middle of this grass area and there was 10,000 people yelling at you.
I'd rather have that than Twitter. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but you bring that upon yourself, the Twitter thing.
I do.
You act like you're a bystander. You're just minding your own business there, not saying anything.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Last thing I wanted to get to is, do you see the Tigers and Illich Sports Entertainment look like they're going to launch a Detroit sports network?
Yeah, that's been in the works here because we don't know FanDuel, what was up with them, but what does that mean?
$20 a month for Tigers, Red Wings. My problem
now
it
already comes with our cable package.
Is it going to be with the cable package?
I mean, it better.
One? Yeah.
I mean, I'll end up paying it because I love the Tigers. I'm not the one to boycott things.
I just don't want all these to split with the Pistons. I don't want to wind up paying for like two of these $20 things. They need to figure that out too. The Pistons, I know they're the different owners, but
by the way, the Pistons. Do we need Johnny Kane? I know everybody doesn't like Blaha and Special K, Greg Kelser anymore, but when George needs a day off, are you really going towards Johnny Kane? Is that where we're? You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Do people like Johnny Kane? Does Tony Dombrowski like Johnny Kane?
I don't know. If you like Johnny Kane, let us know.
I love George Blaha.
Yeah.
But I understand he's getting to that age where it's coming to an end here. But
I just love to hear his voice. Like, I think
his career, not his life. I'm sorry.
Correct.
Yeah. I love hearing it. Listen, I don't mind because do I hear the flubs? I do, but I don't know.
No,
I'm biased.
I think if I had to pick like a voice to soothe me and put me to sleep at night, it would be George Blaha.
Oh, absolutely.
It'd be right there. Yeah.
Legend.
Maybe calling like an 89 game, or something like that with Adrian Dantley. Oh, man.
Oh, dude.
Oh, okay.
I can feel going up those palace steps and hearing that. Oh, man. God damn it.
All right. We are going to take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into your takes. We're also going to have Brad Hoos from Muskox join us with his takes as well. Couch in the Rube, our Monday show presented by our friends at Muskox Quality Flannels.
Where else can you cheer on your team, enjoy a mouth-watering burger or savory sushi, sip on handcrafted cocktails, or one of 46 beers on tap? Take your game day or date night to Cask & Company Kitchen Bar or Front 43 Neighborhood Pub near Frandor. Two amazing places with one awesome blended modern American-Asian menu. Catch the game on one of 30 60-inch TVs or stop in for the all-you-can-eat lunch buffet. Enjoy happy hour or elevate your night out at Cask & Company or Front 43 on East Saginaw in Lansing. Ever wonder how comfortable you can be and how good you can look? Put on a Muskox flannel and find out. Muskox has new arrivals for this fall, including the Caper Green Grand Flannel, which even makes couch look good. Muskox is a Detroit-based flannel company that creates soft and durable flannels made to last a lifetime. They become a great partner with Couch in the Rube, not just because they make us look good and feel good, but because they're good people too, and a socially conscious company. For every $100 purchase, $10 is donated to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation. Muskox flannels are designed with 100% cotton that is ethically sourced and double brushed for softness. Feel the quality and comfort of a Muskox flannel by ordering at gomuskox.com, where Couch in the Rube listeners can enjoy $15 off their flannel purchase with the promo code HOFF. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com.
Please like and subscribe to the Couch in the Rube YouTube channel. Also, download podcast episodes wherever you get your podcasts. For sponsorship opportunities, email Jason at couchandtherube.com.
Couch in the Rube, our Monday show, presented by our friends at Muskox Quality Flannels. You know who's a Muskox man? Jaxon Kohler, from what I understand, is a Muskox man. You too can be a Muskox man. Go to gomuskox.com, where you can use the promo code PEACOCK for $15 off your flannel purchase.
Peacock?
Very pleased now to be joined by the CEO of Outland Group and the founder of Muskox, and a damn fine human being, Brad Hughes. Brad, how are you, sir?
Graham, I'm doing fantastic on this Monday. Thanks. Thanks for having me on. How are you, sir?
I'm great. I'm sitting here in a Muskox, so I feel good. My man boobs are being hid. My chins 6 through 8 are being hid, so I'm good. Before we get into your hot takes, I wanted to ask you, why do you do what? Give me the origin story of Muskox. Why do you do this? Why Muskox? You could have done just about anything.
Yeah, so we had this harebrained idea that we could create this fantastic outdoor brand, and it's funny. Like going back a number of years, college Brad always thought that he would want to open up an outdoor store. I always kind of had this vision for doing that. But I was the same kid that went into environmental engineering because I liked backpacking and thought I was pretty good in math and science, and had no idea that environmental engineering was mostly water treatment and wastewater treatment. I had these grand visions of hiking up mountains, and I had no idea what it was. So Brad back in the day thought I could open up this outdoor shop at some point in the future. Well, fast forward, and like you said, I'm part of the Out Loud Group. We're an influencer marketing agency, and we work with a number of big creators. And we wanted to roll out a proof of concept that we could create a business together with creators. And we were working on this deal with this big creator. He's actually since retired, even though he's younger than me. His name is Matt Carricker, and we're working on this big deal. And the deal fell through over a period of weeks. And during this, we were saying, if this deal falls through, why don't we create our own brand? I don't even know if we need this brand involved. And so, lo and behold, that the deal fell through, and that's exactly what we did. And so, it's not quite an outdoor store per se, but it's step one towards getting there now. But really, now we're just laser focused on creating the best flannel shirt in the world. And we're kind of a David and Goliath story where we're definitely the David reaching into our satchel of stones and trying to sling them against the Filsons, the Pendletons, the Patagonia, the North Face of the world in the flannel market. So yeah, I think we're just crazy enough to take on a really big idea and go after it now for 6 years. That's really kind of the origin and how we got to today.
And the idea of doing the level of quality, and then doing stuff with the Alaska Wildlife Conservancy and things like that. Why was that stuff important to you?
Well, I'm the son of a Navy captain, and my dad, always instilled in me. It's like, hey, your actions are a lot more important than your words. And so we were named after the muskox who were this amazing animal, which we could nerd out on, but we thought it was really, really important to actually support muskox in terms of what we're doing. And so very early on, we got in touch with our friends at the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, and they loved the idea. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's free revenue for them too, to support them. And like, that's one of the things I'm most proud of at Muskox. Like, we donated over $100,000 to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center now, and we're not even a profitable business yet. I'll be totally honest about that, but we're making good progress towards that. And we thought it was really important to help American wildlife as we're trying to, name ourselves after wildlife and really live it.
All right. So you're a Michigan State guy. What are your takes this week?
Yeah. So I got to start with hockey. So yeah, we've done an NIL deal with the whole hockey team. I was at the game on Saturday night, and I mean, Trey Augustine, a 13-round shootout. I mean, that's just insane. But I mean, he's got to be the greatest eraser in all of college hockey, and I feel good that he's going to play a major role into a very deep tournament run. So maybe this one's not very hot takey, Graham, but Trey Augustine, greatest eraser in college hockey right now.
Trey Augustine is good. Hot take, yes. But I do think he's a big part of why, and I still think this team, because of the penalties they take and some of the situations they get themselves into, I think makes people a little nervy for a single elimination situation. But I also think that, we've seen them handle some of that, and they're much more equipped. They're much deeper. They're more equipped to handle certainly the early round opponent that they couldn't a year ago, I think, at least. That's my perception of them.
I think so too. I'm a little reservations about their defense.
Yeah.
Still at times.
Play a little loose.
And I'm not sure why they're better away from Munn than they are at Munn, but as they're looking for one last victory here in Minneapolis across Thursday and Friday, that probably works in their favor in the near term. And then lo and behold, they're not going to be playing in the Midwest here in the NCAA tournament as well. So it's probably an okay thing. But yeah, excited about seeing what's going to happen, which kind of dovetails into my second hot take here. So again, look, the February swoon is over, right? I think we've seen it way too many times over the years. The February swoon, everyone still gets worked up about it. It's officially over. Jaxon Kohler's back. Jordan Scott is going to continue to play a huge role. Carson Cooper, great for so many games here. I got a little snake bit Sunday against Indiana, but I think the whole team is locked in and on the uptick. So for a team that's been a little bit up and down, I feel like all the down is behind them at this point. So I'm very bullish there.
They do seem to find it at the right time most years, and some years takes a little longer than others, and I understand the angst as well. I mean, this is not, when you aren't as good in parts of February as you were in parts of November and December, like that's gonna make people nervous. But yeah, no, look, they seem to find it at the right time, and there is something to that because there's one constant in that, and it's Izzo.
Mr. March. We're here.
What is your third take?
Here. Third take here. So you're have to bear with me here on this one, Graham, because this is not going to be positive for the Troughs. But Zeke, the Wonder Dog, is the heart and soul of the Michigan State game day experience. It's not the Troughs. It's sure as heck not Johnny Spirit or the helmet shuffle or some guy with his shirt off wearing a helmet in the top row of the stadium. It's always Zeke the Wonder Dog as the soul of the MSU game day experience.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do love a good trough, but it would be really disrespectful to Zeke the Wonder Dog, the latest of whom just passed away, if I said he's not as important to the university as a urinal. Like, I think that's just not a good positive way to frame any person really in life. Maybe Johnny Spirit against the trough. I go trough all day. Yeah, and Solari would agree with me on that. But but certainly with Zeke. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, I know they'll probably have another Zeke because this isn't the first Zeke, but and dogs have a limited lifespan. But it's always, it's always sad to see, and I can respect that take.
It is a little sad, especially in my family. So there's a gentleman by the name of Gary Eisenberg, who my daughter calls Papa G, and Papa G is actually the one who brought Zeke the Wonder Dog to Michigan State at the beginning, and so it's my wife's best friend's father-in-law. I don't know if you followed that one. We're getting pretty far, but we love Zeke in my family, and it's what a great tradition Zeke is at Michigan State. But yeah, there's a lot of great things on a football game day, but it's tough to get a more family-friendly tradition that's out there. So Zeke's the soul of the Michigan State game day experience. I'll die on that hill.
Papa G, something for me to aspire to as a nickname. I like that, Papa G. That works. Brad, appreciate your support, and appreciate the quality you bring to our show, man.
Yeah, thank you, Graham. I appreciate it. I'm telling you, between the hockey turnaround, Izzo finding his rhythm here in March, it's a great time to be a Spartan, and that's yet another reason why we love being part of this show. You guys tell it like it is, and Muskox, we appreciate that same honesty, fun loving, and having a little bit of fun at your own expense. So hey, we appreciate you guys, and thanks for getting a chance to chat today.
That's Brad Hughes. Appreciate you, Brad. From the Out Loud group, founder of Muskox, and somebody I actually hung out with him, Jason, for a while.
Oh man, sorry to hear that for him.
We had a good time. We hung out a few times. We hung out in West Lafayette on the night that Solari got really drunk. That was a year or two ago, and then
Graham
watched some college football playoff action with him. So good guy, great family. And very pleased to have Muskox with us. Are we ready?
I was just wondering, how long our show would be if everybody did their take, called in.
We should do that.
Did their take.
We should do that.
We'd be here for 4 hours.
More than that. We could do a 6 hour.
And I almost did a spit take when you started. I thought you were about to be like, Brad, why do you do what you do? I was like, oh, he's going Larry King. Anyway, love Brad Hughes. Love Muskox, man. Really the best flannels ever. Swear.
Absolutely,
they are amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, look at it. We should just.
You got to quit being so hard on yourself, though.
Why is that? Oh, the
man 9 chins. Brad's sitting there like, I don't know how to come back from that. My tits are looking great. Got 9 chins.
It's just true.
Muskox is on, dude. You're like, I don't know.
It's just true.
I don't know. Maybe you cut the chin thing.
Okay.
It'd be so hard on yourself. Because at one point it just gets really sad. You're just like, damn it. This guy's really hard on himself.
If you're an awful looking oaf like this guy, Muskox is for you. Again,
I wish you guys made jeans because I have no ass. It's like, God damn. All right, couch.
All right, anyway. go Muskox.com and Peacock, of course, for $15 off. All right, let's dig into these hot takes.
Peacock.
Eric Schultz, number 1. All right, maybe they're actually pretty good. 2, getting Kohler the ball down low early and often was important. Great matchup to try to get him out of his funk. And 3, don't get destroyed on Sunday. Don't lose next Friday. That's all I want until the tourney.
I think Eric probably speaks for a lot of people. I mean, people obviously want to beat Michigan, but Michigan's tough. That's a tough place to play. And, they will have already won the Big Ten title, so maybe that helps. But they'll want to make a point. And if you're Michigan State, you just want to go in there and show that you can play at that level in a difficult environment. And I think as long as they don't lose next Friday, and they beat Rutgers, which they'll do, I think they're no worse than a 3 seed, right? That to me is.
You promised that to us.
I'm not promising anything.
If it doesn't happen, it's your ass.
Well, I mean, you remember the year Middle Tennessee State 10 years ago? Like people thought they were probably a 1 seed. There have been years where we've been off in our projections, and the matrix has been off on Michigan State, and usually it goes the wrong way for MSU. Rarely have they gone up. Occasionally they have, but so you never know. But it just gets the way they're playing right now. It seems hard to see how they wouldn't be a 3 seed.
Dominic next, number 1, rest in peace, Zeke the Wonder Dog. He was an iconic pooch. Yeah, rest in peace. Which one are we on? Like, how many is
this? Was 4, right? So
really,
yeah,
really.
Yeah.
2, Couch's A Time to Kill sequence was simultaneously the most cringe, insane, hilarious shit I've heard in my life. Rewound it 6 times. I'm never gonna watch that movie again and not think of Denim Wojcik.
That was the plan.
Thanks, weirdo. 3. That was Dominic. 3, Couch, if you omit one more question of mine, I'm going to move into the West Side neighborhood. I'll leave it at that.
We'd love to have you, Dominic. We got to get you out of East Lansing. We got to get you into Lansing. We just want, like, our neighborhood, we got all these coaches moving to, what was it, White Hills or whatever it is, the one place in
where
Hazlet.
Neighbors leave you alone and don't steal your cat.
Nah, we have a great.
Don't invite you to shitty Hallmark parties.
You know who lives in our neighborhood? The gymnastics coach, Mike Rowe. There you go. So
anyone else you want to dox?
I'm not going to give you his address. I'm just going
to. It's not a giant neighborhood. I mean, you could probably go door to door.
It would take a bit. Yeah, I feel confident that it would take a while.
Yeah, take a lot of effort.
Yeah, I feel pretty safe. Yeah.
Alex James, Kur Teng morphing into Jamal Crawford at the perfect time is very on brand for MSU hoops. Every year they have a rough patch that makes us question the laws of the universe, and they always come through it one way or another. Yeah.
They do.
And that's why we get to vent.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we're giving up on anybody and want people fired at the time,
But I do think
questions.
The years that happened between Cassius Winston and last year, the years where there were a lot of 13-loss seasons, I think legitimately made people nervous that Izzo had lost something and then things weren't the same. And that said, there was angst in like the Cassius Winston years, right? People don't always trust it. And I understand it because it doesn't seem logical that you'd come out of something, that you're not always who you are and you get better. And it is one of the great things that Izzo is able to do with different groups and get them at their best at the end. And maybe you just can't play at a certain level continuously all year unless you're truly, truly, truly an elite team.
I just feel like Izzo's like my dad, though, because Izzo's been in my life more than my own father has. And it's just like when you're right, like when your dad does something, you go, "Hey, Dad, what's going on, man? What's going on with this right now?" You can talk about it, ask questions, and then if you get an answer and say, "Don't coach my team, asshole," you go, "All right, Dad. All right, man." So anyway, I wish Tom Izzo was my father.
I mean, there are still things. There are going to be some Denim Wojcik takes today later on.
Well, but isn't that a valid question, though? You 100%. See Denim Wojcik out there, and you see other guys, and we asked it last Friday, and it was asked, and that the answer is that I don't know if it's the one, you want to take the one that Couch gave you, but if Izzo said, "Hey, that's what we're doing," and it's like, okay, but I disagree with you.
And don't get me wrong, like I am, every time Denim Wojcik comes into the game, I write down time and score, right, while he's in there. Because it is something that is worth monitoring because he does not play at the level of Divine
Ukachukwu. What? See your game notes.
Yeah, no, I can pull them up right here. Right now it's hold on, I can pull this. I misspelled. I'm usually typing fast, but okay. They're up 19-10. Wojcik in Teng, Ward, Kohler, and I'm putting the lineup. Boom. Okay, and then I had the and then. When he leaves, I usually say it, and when he comes back, Fear's in 21-13, 11 minutes. Like I am keeping track of that because it is important to hold like Izzo accountable to something if what he's saying is not what's tracking on the court. Like it doesn't always look pretty with Wojcik, but if they're able to buy a minute here and there before media timeout, and he's not costing them, and they think he's the best option at running the offense. I think it's harder to run a point when you have not been the point guard all year. It's harder to do that than people think, and I think they think he's the best option.
But if he's wide open and maybe have him shoot once in a while, make him respect. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Has he shot? How many shots has he put up this year?
Hold on, give me some Hoff. 1 second.
Check your notes.
I am the passenger.
That's crazy.
All right, so
I ride through the city's backside.
Free Ubers.
I see the stars come out of the sky. Yeah, the bright in the hollow sky.
I'm trying to see the last time he took a shot.
How far you got to go back?
Oh, these are monthly split. Oh, what the hell's going on here?
The urinal or portal.
I am a passenger.
Okay.
Take your time. Check those notes.
Okay, here we are. So this year, he has taken a total of 16 shots.
Really?
And he's made 4.
Where was I?
I remember like 4 of them.
You do?
Yeah. And it says he's 0 for 4 for 3, but I'm pretty sure he made a 3. Like I don't think these stats are correct. I thought he was like
Ask
1
Grok.
for 4. Yeah, Grok does not. That is it's becoming a new pet peeve of mine. Like,
is it?
Well, because you get like, and I have many pet peeves, but you get people like, you get like a serious reporter from, in a global agency reporting on war, and then you get some jackass like, Grok, is this true? Like,
yeah.
It's like, fuck off, man.
Hold you guys accountable.
Yeah. From Grok, who's wrong half the time. Great. That's great.
I just love that it sets people off. Kurt Wisniewski next. Scott and Ward are rounding into form for March. If Kohler and Teng continue their shooting, MSU will be an Elite 8 team. And bonus, subbing spaghetti squash for regular spaghetti noodles is elite. All right. Is that hot?
I've had other kinds of, like, try to get more healthier types of pasta.
Does Kurt live in the West Side neighborhood? It sounds like a West Side neighborhood.
This is something we would do. We would make our own eggnog and have...
no, not that. Just that would be the like subbing spaghetti squash. Like, I've never thought about it before.
Yeah.
It's a weird...
No, anything that's healthier. This is the stuff that we have to do as we get older, man. We have to make better decisions. It sucks. It really sucks. Like, I'm driving... Like, I've done this drive from Bloomington, Indiana back to Lansing a zillion times at this point in my life.
Hammering sliders.
And back in the day, like, I stopped like every 4 exits, It's like, I was like, what the hell? Why not?
Briefcase.
I can't do that now. It's just...
You really feel terrible. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I think White Castle's garbage anyway, but that was before I had to stop eating that kind of stuff.
Well,
I never liked
White Castle. Is usually one of those things after you've been drinking that makes sense.
But it's always overrated. I don't know. Sorry. Just never liked White Castle.
Yeah.
Matt Salisbury next. Number one. So I may have been premature Friday about Kohler. He was just waiting until March to flip the switch back on. Smart thinking. And bonus, this was a huge week for MSU in seeding, all but locked up a 3 seed.
Yeah, I don't know if it's completely locked up, but the other these were 2 huge wins. These were big wins. And I know that Purdue is flawed, and I know that Indiana is really flawed and a good matchup for Michigan State, and I think both were good matchups for Michigan State. But, like, you still have to do it. You still have to go to tough places. In Bloomington yesterday, you saw the Northwestern result, and a lot of that place was empty for that game. And then you see yesterday, and it's packed to the gills. And there were like 8 or 9 times where Indiana tried to make a run, and you could feel the crowd like just ready to explode. And then Kur Teng would hit a 3. Then Jeremy Fears would hit a shot. Then they do something the other way. Jaxon Kohler hit a shot. And every time they had a really calm answer, and I thought that was impressive because that's one of those places. I mean, they were like 10 for 30 from 3, but they had enough threes. They had enough shots. And if you let a team like that start to believe and it gets dicey, it can. Michigan State did not let that happen.
Jeff Kohler, question. Do you wear a Zeke shirt to senior night or stick to the script?
Somebody had a good suggestion. I think Jeff's going to do this. It's a Jaxon Kohler with Zeke Wonder Dog shirt.
Oh,
that's the play.
Hands down.
Yeah, that's the easy play here. Right? Yeah. So perfect. We have a solution.
I want a Zeke the Wonder Dog shirt. Let's start doing those.
I think they exist out there.
Oh,
but we could.
Yeah, but who do I have to buy it from?
We get Therese, get our sweatshop going.
Yeah, we might have to. Teacups.org. Dave Berwaldi next. Jeremy Fears Jr. is within 50 assists of the all-time NCAA record for a season. He's starting to get serious national recognition, and he's must-see TV during March Madness. There's also a great chance we're going to get to enjoy him for 2 more seasons. No wonder Izzo wants to keep it rolling. And from Richard Kane, Fears will break the all-time assist record.
I don't. Okay, I think he's way behind that. People keep saying 50 assists. I think it's like 404 or something like that, and he's in the mid-2s. Hold on.
Hopefully that's next to the Denim Wojcik shot attempt.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, Mark Wade. So Mark Wade in 1986-87 for UNLV had 406. Avery Johnson for Southern. And, are we talking, if we're talking Big Ten, it's Braden Smith at 313. If we're talking MSU, it's Cassius Winston, I think, at like 291. So I like it. There's some things that are more in play. The 406, I don't think is possible. He would have to start averaging about 17 assists a game. Not saying it's out of his realm to do it, but it would be tough to do. But I'll have to look at exactly what you're talking about there because it's not 50 assists away.
Dave, wow, that's a bummer. Dave Berwaldi.
Yeah. Keep listening.
No, missed that one. Eric Larson. Shooting is probably less of a risk for this MSU team trying to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament than whistles. Depth at the 2 and needing Cooper and Kohler on the floor to compete with the best are maybe their truest weaknesses. We saw the whistle derail them in the 2019 Final Four.
The whistle is scary in college basketball. It really is. And you know what's scary about it is everything that happened in the Indiana game. Those refs were so damn inconsistent. Like the way they were calling that game early. You know, Izzo even joked about, you know, last time he put somebody in with 2 fouls and because the media wanted him to, which is not why he did it. But it bit him. He actually did it a little bit in this game. It didn't do it with Cooper, and I think for good reason. And then you saw Cooper pick up a third pretty quick in the second half. And then they started calling the game completely different, and they just let things go. And then at the end, they started calling it again. Like you have to have the players and coaches have to know what's a foul in a given game. They have to be able to feel the game, and they didn't do that. And that's what makes it scary in the postseason, and that's why I hate the 5 foul things. I think I would be more inclined in the postseason, especially if you're playing a top team, to just ride it out for the most part. I'm not saying you don't sit a guy down for a little bit if he gets 2 quick ones or whatever, but like often these guys don't get to 5 fouls. And I think if you are the better team, if you are the favorite, the auto bench till halftime makes a lot more sense. If you can survive it, you just want to be even till then. If you think you are the better team, you want to be full, go without foul trouble in the second half. But if you're playing somebody where you feel like you're playing up and you've got to stay in and stay with them, I would be more inclined to just risk it a little bit more and in the postseason and try to.
Well, wouldn't that be a question for the referees? I know they don't sit there and talk, but why would you call it differently in each half?
Yeah, well,
just give me an answer.
Sometimes I feel like they have to catch up on the fouls because it's getting embarrassing one way or another or other things. But otherwise, it's crap. It's absolute crap. It's an inconsistency that shouldn't be tolerated. It should be pretty easy. I'm not saying you don't miss calls here and there. The sport moves fast. I get that. But I think it should be pretty easy to officiate a game with the same type of calls. And if you're calling ticky-tack shit, then just ride it out that way. I mean, it sucks, but ride it out that way. If you're letting people let them play. The same thing should basically be a foul as you see it each time down the court for both teams.
Richard Kane, number 1, anything Dusty does is a dick move. And 2, it's good to have you back, Jaxon. If Skiles hasn't tutored fears, surely Hakeem has been working with Cooper, who is all of a sudden an inside force. Has Hakeem been in town?
I don't think so, but I've seen him work with people. Yeah, boy, that guy. You talk about footwork.
Legend.
Yeah. No, it's
What's up with Dusty May though? Like, I know he's a good coach. Did you see where he was staring at the camera, like in the post game?
I think he was doing what
with his team all around.
Perez does. Yeah, no, it was. He's just having fun. I mean,
that was a bit.
Yes, it was a bit. It was a total bit. It was a total
I thought
bit.
he was doing it on. Oh, okay.
No, it's a bit. I didn't know. There are lots of reasons I think for people to be frustrated. Look, he's one of those guys. If he's not your coach, I understand why people get frustrated. People, Jeremy Fears. He's not your point guard. You don't like him. But he's having fun with his team there. I don't think
so. The bit was to stare at the camera creepily,
Correct.
Oh,
that was the bit.
Okay,
it's like me coaching 6-year-olds who aren't my kids. Just no.
Wow,
that's a bit.
Some say a bit. Certain bits can get you in prison. Matt, Jeremy Fears had his best game Sunday. He was insanely efficient, distributed the ball well, and created his own offense when it was needed most. He is playing like the best point guard in college hoops right now.
This went under the radar because he's been so good, and statistically he's done more in certain games, and this has become who he is. I think Jeremy Fears Jr. was the best player on the court for a lot of the game, and he did a nice job of getting Kohler involved right away, which I think helped. This was a good matchup for him, helped him get his confidence back, I think, and that's really important. That's part of your job as a point guard. And I've thought there were times where he has passed up Kohler, passed up guys at times when he was looking for a shot in January and things like that. And I'm not saying he was making selfish decisions for that. I'm just saying there were times I thought, boy, right now I would get other guys involved, and there were some open guys, and he took an open shot. I'm not saying he shouldn't take an open shot. I thought in this game he was really good at getting guys going, getting guys the ball who were going. And I don't know. I just thought he orchestrated the whole damn thing really, really well. And that's, he's the MSU's versions of Cade Cunningham. Like, if you lose him, he's the guy you can't get in foul trouble. He's the guy you can't sprain an ankle. Like, he's the guy who you just can't survive without, and I think everybody knows that. But he's also playing at a level that I don't think everybody realizes it. And I think you see people like listing him with certain point guards who aren't even playing defense or aren't guarding the other point guard or things like that. Fears is playing at a pretty high level.
So
right
people
now.
that don't know ball Don't know about Fears.
Or watch one end of the court and make too many judgments just on offense or just on shooting. He's shooting the ball pretty well, too. I think one of the things that helps Fears is when other guys are hitting shots, and it's not on him to create the offense. I think that makes a big difference for him.
Jarrett next. Number 1, not a fan of Kevin Harlan. He overplays small moments, and it takes away from what's happening from the games. Just has annoying tendencies overall. And 2, if Kur Teng makes at least 3 threes per game, MSU isn't losing again this season. Well, Jarrett, who do you like, though? Like, I don't mind. Everybody has an issue. Just because I think Kevin Harlan's great doesn't mean everyone has to. But my thing is, then tell me, who's your favorite then? Because, I don't know.
Some people like Benetti. Some people don't.
Well, you can like both. You don't have to like just one guy. I like Benetti, too. Some people don't like him.
Yeah.
Michigan fan Jordan doesn't like Benetti, and that's, it's his opinion. I can understand that because he's a little too cheesy for you. Benetti, that is. But Kevin Harlan, come on, man. That dude's a legend in my eyes. So just tell me who some of your favorites. And don't give me like, Summerall, Matt, like current guys that do it.
The Kur Teng 3 threes a game, it would be, if he could do that, it would be interesting to see, because I do think at that level they become, it just, you go from 1 or 2 a game to 3. It's an extra, probably an average of 5 points when he's doing that, or when he hits 4, it's obviously more than that. And it just, he's somebody that I think what he's doing right now is he's somebody you have to account for on scouting reports. I think it opens things up. And I just think he's also somebody who can create his own shot by the way he rises up, and differently than some other guys who shoot the ball. And that's a really helpful thing, especially in late clock situations with an offense that still occasionally gets stagnant in the half court.
Some dude next. Number 1, if you told me that I was going to meet a guy named Cohen Carr, I'd be expecting an old Jewish gentleman in a rocking chair. 2, Kevin Harlan is the greatest of them all. I'm not sure if they still do it, but he would do a Monday night NFL game on Westwood One radio that was the most magical. I'm sure you know. And 3, Couch is the whitest. Remember when you hit the rock button as a kid on those synthesizers you're expecting Running with the Devil, but instead you get When You Get Caught Between the Moon and New York City? That's how white Couch is. It's okay to be white, Couch. Some of us just can't help it. We have any gift cards? Those are 3 quality takes.
Yeah, we not
well read, but definitely some dude.
Not for the day show. Although we do have some new Front 43 and Cask and Company gift cards that we're going to begin to give away.
Some dudes on the list. Then.
All right, some dudes on the list. I think some dude. I'll have to double check. He's got one. He's one of the I just sent out Shake Shack too.
Oh, so right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Ryan Schultz. Jesse McCullough not getting any time in this game spoke volumes. I get that Couch likes the kid, but at some point you got to admit it's clear the coaches have zero faith in him, and he'll be a mutual transfer this offseason. And from Renee. McCullough did not get in the game. Getting him some minutes and experience would have been valuable. Is there a reason he hasn't gotten any minutes lately? We could need him come tournament time.
Yeah, and a couple things here. One on the transfer, I don't necessarily see that. I haven't talked to him about that for a couple reasons. One, the opportunity is going to be great next year. I mean, the 2 guys who are play his position, who are taking up all the minutes at his position, are both graduating. So if you're him and you put in 2 years in the program and you're only a redshirt sophomore, why would you leave now? It seems like the opportunity is there, and you now in terms of sometimes the quality of play above you, especially on the road, is just better than you. And you have 2 guys, because of the way Cam Ward's playing and what he offers, and their ability to occasionally move Cohen Carr to the 4-2, there just aren't many minutes of need right now. Now, in foul trouble, you could argue that they should have gone that way, and they didn't, and maybe that does say something. And I think, Izzo even brought up that he'd like to get him more minutes. They don't feel as comfortable with him in certain settings as they do Kohler and Cooper, and those guys have earned that, and they've gotten there over years where those guys were in the same boat as McCullough. Now, the difference is when they were young, the only guy ahead of them was like Madi Sissoko, wasn't really any better than them, right? So you went with them, they were still trying to find something. They have the answers inside right now. And at power forward, they certainly have it, with Cam Ward, and they like what he's giving, and that moves occasionally Kohler to the 5-2. And so, I think it's more of just a numbers game than a minutes game. And you can't just play somebody to get them experience. You can against Rutgers at home against Wednesday, But I don't, in a game where you're trying to continue to keep that lead and you've got certain things going, you're doing everything you think it's best to put the best 5 on the floor at the given time that you have available. And I don't think he's often in that 5, and maybe it's not the right approach. I just don't think what's happening right now correlates with a transfer. But then again, I haven't spoken to him about that either. So.
Matty B, if McCulloch still can't play against Indiana, then you cannot settle at center in the portal. It can't be a backup for Missouri State because he's a culture guy. Great. The staff loves him, but at some point you need reps or you risk time getting him up to speed next year. And bonus, there is not a single good reason for Purdue to be on the 2 seed line in any bracket matrix whatsoever, no matter how much people love Matt Painter.
I'll ask about McCullough Tuesday's Izzo press conference because it's clear we have a number of questions on him, and I think that if people are wondering and
don't coach my team,
there should be Izzo. That's a good question to have, and Izzo should be able to answer that.
People are nuts. I'm not nuts. They're nuts.
I don't think you're going to see Purdue on the bracket matrix has them overall as a 3. And let me see Let me see if I look at how many people have them as a 2. There are quite a few as a 2. Lenardi is not. The thing about some people is they have massive platforms, and so we use them all the time and we reference them. But like Joe Lenardi over time has not been one of the more accurate people in terms of the bracket. So it's not like.
So don't pay attention to him anymore.
Not relative to other people.
Lenardi.
Not relative to other people. But Purdue is still, they're the top team on the 3 seed line. Who does Purdue have left? Hold on, let's see what they have. So Purdue's got one top. They're at Northwestern actually with the way they're playing. Who knows? But then they've got Wisconsin at home. If they lose either one of those games, I don't think they'll be. They shouldn't be on anybody's 2 at that point. But I think Michigan State's better than Purdue, and they won there, and that should have some weight. But the entire body of work is what people look at, and Purdue is still. Hold on, Purdue's 8 in Ken Palm. What's carrying that weight? It's I don't know what's carrying that weight. They really don't have a lot of great wins. I mean, they beat Wisconsin on the road. That's a good win. They beat They beat Nebraska on the road. So Nebraska and Wisconsin on the road. Iowa on the road is pretty good. Those are the wins that are carrying the day right now. But, it's not a better resume than Michigan State's.
Mayor of Fittstown next. McCullough is going to enter the portal and give Izzo a reason to get a high-profile center since he will no longer be recruiting over his guys. The result will be a natty.
So there's an opportunity to recruit a guy next year you're not recruiting over McCullough. And what I mean by that, and this is where Izzo missed when Kohler and Cooper were young. And this is, a year ago it was too late to do it, and that's why they bring in Zappala. But the year before that, when those guys were sophomores, you're not recruiting over somebody if you bring in a guy for a year and those guys are sophomores. You would have been recruiting over Madi Sissoko. Now, next year you'll have a redshirt sophomore in McCullough. You're not giving up on a guy like that if you say you need somebody else there. And they absolutely will. To what level? We'll see what they trust. But I think when you're going with Ethan Taylor and McCullough, you need a veteran. You need a guy who's a grown man who's played in big games, and you need a guy that for sure. Like you look at what Purdue did and at center, and they struggle to defend that position. You need a guy who can really defend that position. I think more than you need an offensive force there.
Shep next. Number 1, Couch's process for awarding gift cards is the third most corrupt thing in America after Trump's Cash for Pardons program and the University of Michigan Athletic Department. 2, Spot has type 2 diabetes and it's all Graham's fault. Does he really?
He does not. God. The cat jumps over everything. I mean, he eats a lot, but he jumps over. I mean, he can fly.
Do you feed him like human food? Or?
No. We feed him the same cat food. I overfeed him a little bit because I'm a sucker, and he comes to the door all the time for it. And
so how is it possible that the cat goes home to his normal home and then eats on a normal basis? Like
he definitely, when he's coming over our house a lot, we see him gaining weight. There's no question. But so am I. So we're all in the same boat.
All right, 3, Couch is several shades whiter than the Izzone. And somehow picturing him in a Kangol hat is even whiter than him without a hat.
Well said.
It really is. Yeah. Isn't that impossible? That does make you the whitest man alive. If you wore a Kangol hat and you're whiter than, without the hat.
I don't know if I'm the whitest man alive. I mean, I'm pretty
you're
white.
up there. Grok said you were.
Yeah, thanks.
I love Greg. Drew White, what does MSU have to do to move ahead of Illinois and Purdue in the net and KenPom rankings? Can they just lose an unlimited number of times and not move down? Help me understand.
Yeah, it's a fair question because, like, looking at Purdue's resume, and Purdue has a really good resume, by the way. It's not a bad resume, but they have also lost 6 of their last 11 games, right? Like that ought to count for something. I know.
What's the point of rankings then? It sounds
yeah, but they're looking at the overall metrics.
February,
like they've got a road win at Alabama, who's a top 15 KenPom team in November, and so that still carries weight. They've got a neutral site win over Texas Tech. I mean, there are some good games in here, and part of the thing that hurt Michigan State, for example, is we think of Michigan State's best wins in North Carolina, 28 in KenPom, right? Kentucky 25, good but not great. Arkansas 20. Iowa 24. There just weren't that many really quality wins. Part of the reason this last stretch has been so encouraging, they went through this stretch after the Nebraska loss, which they lose by 2 at Nebraska, and if they had won that game, that would have helped. But that's number 11 in KenPom. They play 67 USC, 68 Northwestern, 43 Indiana, 54 Washington, 98 Oregon, 130 Maryland, or 130 Maryland, 143 Rutgers. Right, just not any good teams. Then they lose to 2 Michigan. Lose to 2 Minnesota, but beat 5 Illinois, and after losing to 30 Wisconsin, beat 41 UCLA, 35 Ohio State, who's got a better KenPom than you think, 8 Purdue, and 43 Indiana. It's been a better, but they don't have a lot of really, really high-end wins, and I think that's ultimately what hurts Michigan State. That Purdue win, though, should carry more weight. Purdue was 8 in KenPom. They won there on the road. They were the better team a lot of the night, and that's something that's not being measured properly.
Peasy next. The Auburn shilling from certain bracketologists and TV people is gross. And bonus, Arsenal cannot be allowed to win the league. They are legitimately awful to watch and wouldn't be remotely close without set pieces.
They aren't the greatest watch, and they've gotten worse this year. Like, they were really good for a while this year. I thought they were getting away from a little more free-flowing play. People who watch the Premier League know what I'm talking about. It'll be a great race with them and Man City down to the finish. The Auburn stuff is weird.
Let me guess, Bruce Pearl.
Yes.
Is the guy doing that for his son?
Yeah, it's just crap. And I understand that Miami, Ohio has not played anybody. This is why intent and scheduling matters, because, like, I don't know what Miami, Ohio. Ohio.
One more time.
Miami, Ohio.
Yep.
Who's 87 in KenPom. Like, that's not a record that's going to get you into the postseason if you don't win your tournament. They haven't lost yet, and I know they've had an injury lately, which makes them even a little less than they were. And they have, like, overtime home wins against Buffalo is 194. It's hard to do what they've done, the consistency of it. But they didn't play anybody, and they could have gone on the road and played somebody. And so I only feel like, as somebody who's a MAC snob and is felt like there have been times that mid-major teams do get robbed, and I don't think, I would prefer to see a great historic run by a mid-major be rewarded over Indiana. We just saw that flawed team. Do we really need more Indiana basketball this year? I don't think so. I'd rather have Ohio State and Bruce Thornton get a shot. I think we ought to have a rule, though. If you go unbeaten, completely unbeaten in the regular season, and don't win your conference tournament, you're still in. It seems like a reasonable thing. Like, if you go unbeaten, I mean, every conference road game, you do not lose. But they didn't play anybody. They really didn't. And they didn't play a high major all year. And I want the receipts. Like, there ought to be something where you can say, but these are the 6 high major coaches we called trying to get a game, and they all said no. And if that's there, that's fine. But otherwise, this is not I don't know.
It's really tough for you, a MAC school that's undefeated.
It bothers me that they didn't try to play somebody.
Right.
That stuff, and maybe they didn't know they were going to be this good, and they were trying to build confidence, and that's fine. But, then you got to win your conference tournament. I don't like the approach they took here. It's not great.
Spartan Dog 97, football take to break up the basketball takes. It's not hard to listen to this MSU staff and get excited. A massive messaging upgrade that will backfire when they go 4-8 again this season.
Well, a couple things is on this. The messaging is part of the deal. Yeah. And Jonathan Smith would still be the coach if he was a better messenger. Because if he could have, number one, if he had the personality Pat Fitzgerald, people would have felt more in tune with him. But also, even if he just could have explained why things were happening, why it was going to take more time, and if he could have met people where they were, I think he might have got another year. I think his inability to do that, he took blame without explaining, saying, look, yeah, we're losing here. We don't have this. This is what we need to recruit. This
is
a
good ball club.
Yeah, it just his lack of messaging is why he's not the coach. And so if they do go 4-8, and I don't know that they'll be that bad, I'm just saying if they do go 4-8, I think Fitzgerald's messaging will help him still have people with him.
Kevin from Rochester Hills, number 1, MSU's most important player moving forward is Teng. And 2, Indiana is a football school. And 3, Ronald McDonald was an underrated clown. Nah. I hated all clowns. I still do.
Yeah.
Even especially when I was a kid. They were so creepy. Yucko the clown. Not Yucko the clown. What was the Bozo the clown?
Bozo. There are enough horror movies.
Yucko the clowns from Howard Stern. Sorry.
There are enough clowns in horror movies, too, to be creeped out by them. IU being a football school is 100% true. I was down. I have friends who are a real close friend who married into an IU football or IU family, and they have like floor seats at the basketball games, big donors, all that sort of stuff. And there was a thing early March. They do this big donor gathering at this building right next to the Assembly Hall, and I always go in and hang out and say hi and talk to them for a bit. And I was chatting with them, and everybody's just so deliriously gleeful about the football championship that this basketball team is not bothering anybody. Like, this is a football world over there because they can't even fathom. If you talk to anybody in that room 2 years ago, the idea that Indiana would be the best team in college football, beating Ohio State, winning a national championship, they can't even, it's beyond their wildest dreams. You couldn't even sell that script because nobody would believe it. Like, it's so there. I'm
jealous.
There is and when you talk to students, they will tell you, like the younger students there, even the ones who are freshmen after last year, they came to Indiana partly because they wanted to be at a football school. Like that, basketball's in trouble. You go long enough without being the main thing, and people forget you were once the main thing, and it turns. And right now, it's definitely a football school.
Todd Trustel next. Number 1, MSU is a better three-point shooting team than the Pistons. And 2, took my daughter to the hockey game Saturday night, aftermarket third row for an unreal price. Hockey live is the best.
It is the best live. I've always thought if hockey was, if you can get people to a hockey game when they're young, you have them, because being there is just so much different than on TV. It's a harder sport, I think, to get a kid engaged with who doesn't go to a hockey game just watching on TV than other sports. Do you agree?
Yeah. Well, I was into hockey when I was younger, but my dad knew how much the equipment cost, so it was kind of like.
So he didn't.
I got into hockey because my friend Rob Peasley played hockey, and I was like, oh. It wasn't happening.
No,
$1,000 to get going on that thing. So he's like,
I wish I played hockey. Good hand-eye coordination, big thighs. I think I could have been good. It would have been.
Man, the hockey takes would be unbelievable.
Be unbelievable.
Oh my God.
Yeah. By the way,
skating down the ice. It was unbelievable. Doing some open ice time.
You know who's a Michigan State hockey sponsor? Muskox. Muskox Quality Flannels. Yeah, they have an NIL deal with Michigan State Hockey. You can have your own NIL deal with Muskox. Actually, it won't be an NIL deal, but you can have a Muskox flannel, feel like an MSU hockey player, feel like Jaxon Kohler, look like Jason Iyer, look like the best version of yourself. Go Muskox.com and, of course, Peacock for your flannel purchase. Also, they have $15 off your flannel purchase. They also have hats and tees as you get into the summer months. Some really cool stuff there as well. I think I'm going to get a Muskox hat. I always wear this one here, and it's time for it. It's time for an upgrade.
Mojo Jojo, Imagine take. Jason, how much do we need to raise so Chad Latz can record his version of Imagine for you to play next time Graham brings up his Imagine Denim Wojcik take? Please run for mayor, Graham. And bum take. Demo, WTF, man. Why break up a good and frankly marketable thing with Jahmyr Gibbs? He's not going to get paid that much or be a guaranteed every down back elsewhere. But, Montgomery doesn't have that feeling. He thinks he's going to go to Houston and be the guy, and that's fine.
And everybody
got a great deal for him, so.
A lot of athletes are a little delusional about their own abilities in their own place. Like,
But he is 29, and you do want to get that kind of maybe a chunk deal.
Yep.
Chunk of money deal, I can understand.
I think they did the right thing at the right time. Yep. It's not a pleasant business. And I think he'll be remembered fondly. He's not going to be somebody who people dislike or anything to get traded in. Yeah.
Everybody stops and they staring at me. I got passion in my pants and I ain't afraid to show it.
That's Latz.
Show it.
He could do Imagine.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Come on. All right, Alex James. Graham seems like the kind of guy who enjoys rum raisin ice cream. Good Lord, where do you find rum raisin ice cream?
Does not sound good. I don't understand why you would choose that, because when you go to get ice cream, there are so many different flavors, and so many of them are incredible. Like, that doesn't seem incredible. I feel like if
Have
that
you ever
was
had it?
No, but I feel like if that was the only option, I would try it. But, like, why would I choose that over even, like, vanilla? You know, I'm going to go pralines and cream 100 times or chocolate.
But I feel like if you give it a nice
chip.
little scoop, like a tester scoop before you shit on it, like, it doesn't sound good to me either, but I'd be willing to, if someone had
I would try
a little teaser of it, I'd be like, all right. You never know.
How many have you?
It might be unbelievable.
Have you ever gone to an ice cream place and asked to sample like 6 or 7 different ones?
No. I am not that person.
Yeah,
I get what I like, mint chocolate chip or chocolate, like you said.
Yeah.
I get out of there.
The
There's
oldies
no
with the goodies, yeah. Sometimes when I leave this show, there's a ice cream place not that far from here, and I'll text my wife.
And what did she say?
Yeah, she'll have some.
Can I get 60 of these? Can I try them out individually? Scott, number one, Graham has some wheels and can really get moving when he has a press conference to get to. I got a quick hello and wave as he darted down the Mackey train tracks in the tunnel, the treadmill. 2, Chris Solari is a super nice guy. I had a chance to chat pregame with him, and I can see why you guys are friends. And 3, Mackey is a great road trip. The arena feels weirdly small for the number of people it holds. About 90% of the seats are metal benches, and that tin roof seems to amplify noise back down to the court. I can see why it's a tough place to play.
It's a great college basketball venue. It really is. Assembly Hall is too. They're both classics. They're great. I mean, it's. I'm glad those places exist. And everybody who meets Solari would think he's a nice guy, unless you meet him on deadline or you don't have a printed box score for him.
Pat Fitz didn't know. Next, Graham's best non-sports take. Michigan City to Kalamazoo is the most terrifying drive in the winter. Nothing gives me more anxiety and makes me feel like a bigger bitch and baked. Kevin McGonigle, end of take. McG.
Yeah, McG, that's what you call him. Yeah.
Kevin McGonigle.
He'll be
change that name, dude.
Yeah.
McG.
People are going to want him up on the Major League roster pretty quick here.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
People want it, yeah. No, I'm glad people recognize.
When we lose games 1-0, and
Michigan City. Oh, I saw a good one of the analysis of the Tigers is that their lineup will get better as injuries happen because they'll bring up some of their guys. Like that was
that's sad that's what it's going to have.
That's
to
not
take.
Great, but yeah, Michigan City to Kalamazoo. I'm glad I'm not alone on that. I mean, I think anybody has done it.
I love that people hear that kind of take though, because I have those things in my life. You feel like no one else cares about that, and then when someone says something like that, it chaps your ass. So I can understand. Professor, when the Tigers don't add McGonigle to the 40-man roster, the fan backlash will undercut the goodwill Scott Harris built with the fans over the summer. Wait, there's goodwill?
Yeah.
With what?
With Framber Valdez.
Fuck off. You should be doing that. Not kissing this guy's ass for that. Bonus, sunny and 20 is better than cloudy and 40.
Give me cloudy and 40 all day. Because no coat, just a Muskox. Yeah?
Yeah.
You'd rather have the sun, huh?
Give me that sun. The Mayor Royce of Southern Maine. Best. Haley returning to Chicago PD, even for one episode, is truly a happy, clappy
Whoa,
moment.
I like to go in fresh. Oh, spoiler, I didn't know that was coming.
Oh, my God. Baked. I get so pissed when MSU wins a game like Purdue because it makes the loss at Minnesota even more unexplainable.
It's a road game. First of all, Minnesota just won at UCLA. A well-coached team. And so,
raising your voice at me?
You raising your voice at me?
Yeah, there are times where, I mean, that's going to happen once a year, and I get that. And the Rutgers loss would have been more inexcusable. Give me 1 second here.
Off is exhausted.
I ride through the city's backside.
All right, so Minnesota is 64 in Ken Palm. It's not a bad team. They're 20-some spots higher than Miami, Ohio. And they just and Rutgers is 143. That would have been a bad loss. They just won. Oh, it was home against UCLA, but they won home against UCLA. Lost to Michigan on the road by 10. Beat Rutgers by 20. Oregon on the road by 17. They won. Like they're playing. They're not playing horribly. They're a better team. They've come around all right, and a lot of that started with that Michigan State game.
Sparty Barb next. MSU hockey has the best senior night ceremony. It was amazing to watch the seniors do a final skate, salute the Munsters, and collectively kiss the logo on center ice. And bonus, Porter Martoni gets his second hat trick of the season this weekend as MSU hockey sweeps Minnesota to clinch the Big Ten title. Is that Martone or Martoni?
I've always called him Martone.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
Yeah. but I've never heard him say
Porter.
it. So it will be. This is the first time the last 2 years when they clinched the Big Ten title in the regular season. We traveled for those games. Went to Wisconsin 2 years ago because it was a big deal, and last year to Notre Dame. And Minnesota probably not going to fit. Doesn't work with the weekend of the Michigan State basketball game as well. But a big deal. I think one of the things Michigan State hockey needs to get over the hump in the postseason. Everybody knows that, and they know that. Like it's everything. But the level of consistency of being an elite program where you're winning 3 straight Big Ten titles, which is something nobody's ever done, and if you win that and the tournament title, it would be 6 straight in a certain way. But it's one of the more impressive. I mean, what Nightingale's done is, somebody asked me down at Indiana, in any sport, has anybody done what Kurt Cignetti did? And Kurt Cignetti has blown away everybody. It's better than what Nightingale's done because Nightingale hasn't had the postseason success. I think football is a harder sport to turn it at a place that's like the losingest program of all time in Indiana. I'm not saying it's there, but in that next tier of amazing jobs, hockey was down for a decade. And he came in, he had 1 500 year, and then they've won what might be 3 straight Big Ten championships. And they're like the number 1 team in the country. It's up there.
C. Tulis is lowered next. MSU hockey looks destined for a regular season Big Ten title and another early exit from the NCAA tourney. I hope they prove me wrong, but they wilt at the inopportune moments.
People are going to be nervous until it doesn't happen, And
try being a Lions fan.
I get it.
Can't even cheer for a touchdown. You got to wait 5 minutes to wait for a flag. Like I get it.
Yeah, but people are scarred. If it doesn't happen this year, like it will become a thing. There's a lot of pressure on it to happen this year for Michigan State, at least to get to the Frozen Four.
Josh Ethus next. The Spartans are surging, showing growth on the offensive end and playing with the grit Izzo built his program on as the calendar turns to March. How many times do we need to see this story play out before we just trust that the Hall of Fame coach knows what he's doing?
Probably about 6 more. 6 more with a national championship. People will
Don't coach my team.
If he wins another national championship, people will just say, "Okay, it's good."
Yeah,
I
think so. Is that
maybe not? Maybe not. Matt
should have used that about a half hour ago as your first hot take.
There you go.
MSU realist. My expectations of this MSU team have gone from first or second round exit to Elite 8 within last week. Another great game from Teng, but what I didn't like was the 9 for 10 missed field goals down the stretch. That cannot happen again under any circumstance. It would mean for a March loss.
Yeah, at one point they were 16 for 28 and the sort of averaged out a little bit there. Because you're going to face better teams than Indiana. Indiana is the equivalent of a team you're going to face in the first round. The difference is Indiana, and maybe Indiana's a little more talented than some 14 seeds, but those 14 seeds are going to have a winning culture and know how to win games, and so they're a little more dangerous.
Frank Vansner next. Trying to remember the last time Michigan State won at both Mackey and Assembly Hall in the same season. Couch would probably have the answer. Also, pour one out for Zeke the Wonder Dog, and from Ken Chu. Rest in peace, Zeke the Wonder Dog.
2014 is the last time, which, that was a team that obviously was great and had a chance to win it all and maybe should have won it all. So
I like how you trust Couch, though. You could have just Googled, I think. Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for the trust. Yeah. Don't trust Grok, trust Couch.
Tyler, was that one of the all-time worst game plans you've seen, Graham? Indiana had no identity nor organization and 2 guys who shot 26 threes. They should not touch the NCAA tournament.
No, they don't need to be in there. Izzo's saying that's an NCAA tournament team. Izzo's got to get away from this playing a team that's falling apart mentally and then touting them to be way better than they are just because you just beat them. He always touts the last team they played. And it's fine to say that team's got some ability, they got some guys, but to say that team belongs in the NCAA tournament, they might get in. The bubble is weak.
They got some guys,
but it's not. They're not. They don't deserve
slap in the
it.
face that would be though.
Yeah, they just lost at home to Northwestern. I'm sorry. They're very much on the bubble, and
they
if they
got
don't,
some athletes though.
They don't get in. It's fine. If they do, it's not. It was a. Yeah, it's weird. They just have not been able to get it there, and they got a coach now who maybe will get it going for them, but it hasn't happened in year 1.
Chris next. Not sure if this is a hot take anymore, but MSU's best lineup is Fears, Teng, Scott, Carr, and Kohler. Swapping out Carr for Cooper depending on the matchup. And bonus, the fact that MSU isn't already a lock for a 3 seed is shocking. A win over Michigan next weekend puts them firmly on the 2 line. Also, live Zeke the 4th.
I do
throw me off with the Roman numerals there.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
I do think that the Michigan game is an opportunity, and that's what Michigan State has done something with that game that is a pretty good place to be in. You obviously don't want to get blown out because that would feel a certain way. But some of the pressure's off because everybody thinks of Michigan as this elite team, one of the best teams, maybe the best team in the sport, one of the best couple, and they've earned that. And so, but you've set yourself up where you don't need the victory, and you're not playing for a Big Ten title, and you're on the road, and so there's a little less pressure on it because it's people have decided already which is the better team this year, and I think that's a decent place to be. In terms of lineups, I agree that the Kur Teng, Jordan Scott lineup I think works a lot. I'd like to. It actually wouldn't be a bad story to go back through and look at their splits together and how that they've fared over Big Ten play.
Bibby next. Michigan going potentially undefeated on the road in conference play with a team largely assembled in 1 year is arguably the most impressive accomplishment this conference has ever seen.
Well, that's a take. First of all, it's incredibly impressive. Conference road games are hard to do. I will struggle, I think, forever in the NIL era when you can fix things fast and build things a certain way to think that anything that's done today is more impressive than it was, 25 years ago or so. Yeah, I mean, the Illinois team in 2005 lost the last game of the season, and that was by 1 at Ohio State. So that was a road game, but they didn't lose at home. And then they lost to North Carolina in the championship game. 1 second. Let me look at one other thing here. Yeah, they're not either. Looking at those great Ohio State teams, it's up there. Going undefeated on the road in the Big Ten play, and this Big Ten it's incredibly impressive feat. There might be other things up there, and I do believe it's less impressive to do it today than it would have been 10 years ago. But still, you can make that argument.
Clemens Spartan next. I think out of all the Big Ten teams, MSU matches up the best with Michigan. Don't need to hit 23s like Wisconsin or Michigan to have an off day like against Nebraska in order to be competitive. If they play twice more, MSU will win one. This isn't 2018. I hope to God.
I don't think MSU matches up horribly with Michigan relative to other teams. I mean, I think if Michigan State played Michigan 10 times on a neutral floor, they'd win a couple. And I think the question is whether it's more than that. And, we'll see because they don't have to win in Michigan. But if they play Michigan to within, 5-6 points in a really competitive game in Ann Arbor, all of a sudden you start to think, well, that's a team you wouldn't fear in the Final Four.
Ralph E. next. Purdue and Indiana, big wins. Best MSU basketball win ever, 1979 Ohio State. MSU came into the game 4-4 in the Big Ten. Another loss would have knocked them out of the tournament. Only 2 Big Ten teams went. Irvin went out with a severe ankle sprain and missed much of the game. Came back to lead to an OT win. Jennison was never louder.
So back then, that's when they needed to expand the NCAA tournament. Michigan State with Magic, who won the national championship, was 1 loss away from not getting into the NCAA tournament at all. That tournament needed to be expanded, and they finally did.
Maybe that would have happened, though, if they would have lost that game.
And you just wonder how many great teams in the 15 years before that, other schools didn't even get into the tournament because they came on late or they had some
guys
injury.
Just bitching about it around a water cooler and no one cared.
Yeah, there was no Twitter,
no podcasts.
Just fireside chats with Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Can't believe those boys missed the game. Dan Grafe, hot take. No one gives a shit that you were good in your rec league basketball, Graham. It's like bragging about being the tallest second grader. And bonus, MSU hockey is winning the title this year.
When did I brag about the rec league?
Always? Yeah, every show?
Recently?
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible.
It's fine. We live with it. It's a part of your personality.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah, I apologize.
Guy thinks he knows ball because he hits a couple jumpers in rec league. It's my favorite thing ever. Original Dark Mantonio. The Big House has been called the quietest 100,000 you'll ever hear, and basketball fans, or sometimes lack thereof at Chrysler, have been called out too. That's just who Michigan fans are. But I got a feeling this Sunday may be the loudest and most attended game ever at Chrysler.
It's going to be pretty amazing atmosphere, I think, because it's going to be a celebration in some ways. They've won the Big Ten, and it should be it should be the game where they raise the banner and things like that. And they've earned that. They are the Big Ten champions. There's nothing that can happen in Chicago or this weekend that changes that.
I'm not talking about Michigan.
And so it will be an interesting atmosphere. I'm very much looking forward to it.
MSU stand number 1, Jeremy Fears. Skylar Verdon, sorry. There was an anonymous survey done for the Big Ten basketball coaches a while back this season. Michigan was rated the number 1 most desirable job. That surprised me a lot. They are 4th or 5th biggest basketball brand, so them being ranked number 1 speaks volumes to the perceived resources that they have.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things that go into desirable job. One, they are a big national brand, bigger national brand than statewide brand. And I do think they have resources. I also think it's a great job because there is less pressure in some ways. I mean, what Dusty May's doing may increase the pressure on whoever the next coach is at whatever point, but like, it's a football school that drives it. If you're decent in basketball, you can coach there a long time. If you're getting a second weekend of the NCAA tournament every other year and you're winning 23 games and stuff, you're not going to lose your job at Michigan. You're just not, and that's what football is. What drives the psyche there, and so I can see. I don't know everything that went in that survey, and I don't know, but I could see coaches thinking, coaching at a football school that has basketball school resources is actually the ideal situation.
MSU stand number 1, Jeremy Fears Jr. locks the Big Ten Player of the Year. 2, Tom Izzo takes home Big Ten Coach of the Year honors. And 3, Kur Teng emerges as the X factor for a deep postseason run.
1 has got a chance. We'll see on 3. Izzo is not going to win Big Ten Coach of the Year, I don't think. Because they had 4 guys back and they've been very good, but and I'm not saying he's not done a good job. I think he's done a very good job. And I think he's got a different personality than the year ago, and they were good early. I'm not saying he's not deserving up there, but to me, it's either going to be Dusty May or I would go with Fred Hoiberg, who has done something at Nebraska that this hasn't been done there in a long time.
Started a whole hashtag, Nebraska ball.
There you go.
Corey Ostrom, Jeremy Fears is the Big Ten Player of the Year. I won't argue with Yaxel getting the award, but Fears defends far better. And from Zeke Enjoyer, Big Ten Player of the Year is a 2-man race, and it should go to Jeremy Fears Jr. Has better stats in conference play than Yaxel, leads the nation in assists per game, and MSU would be bottom half in the conference without him. Same cannot be said for Lendeborg. Also, rest in peace, Zeke the Wonder Dog.
Mm. So there's a real argument for both guys. Like, I agree that Michigan State is just totally toast without Jeremy Fears, and I think Michigan can win some without Yaxel. But that can't be the only thing, just because the guys around you absolutely need you. And granted, they've done a lot. I'm not saying Jeremy Fears isn't deserving. I think when you look at you're the best.
Fears is out though. It's Denim Wojcik time. You know what I mean? Like,
you're the best. You're the best player on the best team, and that's having a historic season. Now, I think personality-wise, Yaxel's done some things to turn some people off. 14 points a game. 7 rebounds. Look, I think Fears is deserving of it. You don't have to give it to the best player on the best team, even if they're a historically good team, because they've got a really great roster. It'll be interesting to see what people do if Fears' reputation hurts him at all. But I do agree that it seems like at this point it probably should be one of those two.
Rug and Tub, can we get a Rube and Graham commenting a car lob dunk from Jeremy Fears dunk against Michigan in the Final Four to win the game in a German accent?
Oh, do you do German? I don't.
What the fuck's he talking about? What?
Yeah.
German. It'll probably sound Russian.
If
he dies, he dies.
That's Russian. Yeah. You Russian
Car
mobster.
dunks on Mara's face. If he dies, he dies. Yeah, I don't know.
That's Russian.
Niet. Nein. Nin. That's all I got.
Bist du bei mir geg mich freuden zum Sterben und zu meiner Ruhe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you just call me an asshole, dude?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think I heard my Rube in there somewhere. Yeah. Jonathan Smith's burner number 1. I'm 100% convinced Nightingale pulled a Herb Brooks. Wait, did you have that story? You were practicing that.
No,
I feel like you practiced
it's
that
a lot.
You're like, do you have one? And then you were just waiting.
So
it felt premeditated for a second.
Not to sound any more white, but that is a line from a song I knew in a choir I was in 7th grade. So.
If I were a rich man. Jonathan Smith's burner, number one, I'm 100% convinced Nightingale pulled a Herb Brooks and made the team skate after Friday's embarrassment. They look much better on Saturday, but I'm worried about the defense. And two, MSU basketball should be a 2 seed, and we are comfortably the second best team in the Big Ten.
They got beat. They lost to Nebraska. I understand it was on the road, and Nebraska's had some hiccups here. It could be interesting if they're the 3 seed. Nebraska is the 2. We might get to see that on Saturday. Like it could be Wisconsin, who I think would be a good bugaboo for them to handle on Friday, and then Nebraska, which I think they could be. I mean, I think there's a path to get to Sunday, and there's a path anyway because they're one of the best teams in the Big Ten. But certainly, you don't have to deal with Michigan on that half too. That's the other advantage of it.
Mr. W. Kur Teng going nuclear yesterday nearly brought a tear to my eye. If he can be a consistent shot maker down the stretch and he takes another step next year as a junior, where do you see his ceiling? Bryn Forbes 2.0, Chris Hill. It's a pretty rare player profile for MSU.
Yeah, and it's how badly they need him because, if you're bringing in a guy they think is a 2-guard, is a two-way player, he'll have a role certainly, but you can put up with lack of defense if you have great consistency in shooting. If you're somebody who's just, is an unbelievable shooter, unbelievable scorer. And so I think his ceiling offensively is pretty high as a shooter. What he is on the other end, I don't know, and then where he fits. But he's a guy who at one point this year I thought, boy, I don't know that the fit is there beyond this year with Michigan State for either side. And now, you'd think Michigan State would really want him back.
Steve Beckman, number one, what would be your questions for the referee crew if they had accountability and you were the pool reporter? And two, why does Kur Teng fall down so often?
Well, he fell once about the same area that Cohen Carr slipped on the drive, and I wonder if there's a wet spot. But it's a fair question. I have no idea. If you were the pool reporter, Jason, and you were asking, you were sent down to ask the refs why they suck, what would your question be?
We talked about it earlier in our hot takes of why do you call 2 separate games? You call it ticky-tack first half and the second half, you let them play, and it's just going back and forth. Why don't you?
And this is why I wish this stuff existed in more of a press conference format. Because right now, the way it works as a pool reporter, you're able to ask about specific things that are controversial, especially if they're administration things, like the way something was, the clock did something or something that was.
But there's no follow-up questions, right?
You can follow up to some degree, but yeah, it's very, very strict. And it's kind of bullshit. They're adults, you're adults, you should be able to just ask what you want. But
is that off the record?
But I do think you should be able to say, this seemed like a game that was, and refs should be comfortable in their skin enough to say, you know what, yeah, we had a stretch there where I felt we got away from what we were trying to do, and we let a couple go that we probably shouldn't have, Why
right,
not?
and I would take that answer.
100%.
Yeah, I know college refs are asked the funny thing. I know it's a hard thing to do is to be a basketball referee, but my issue is just the calling it different in the same game. It's just wild. Yeah. Dave Lakin, number one, Izzo and Dusty May are fighting for the soul of the men's college basketball. Both have won Big Ten championship head-to-head. One leans on homegrown players that fit the long-standing program. The other buys the best 8 to 9 players available and lets pieces cook. Year 3 is the rubber match. And 2, last week, men's basketball expert Mike DeCourcy didn't list Jeremy Fears Jr. as one of the 3 best point guards in the Big Ten. He had Braden Smith, Keaton Wagler, and Bennett Skirts ahead. I usually like DeCourcy, but he couldn't be more wrong this time.
Well, if he did it after, that was before the Braden Smith matchup. Now, and the other thing is, I think sometimes, I'm not saying Jeremy Fears is defensively elite, but because otherwise they would never put. Against Wagler, they put Jordan Scott on him, right? They put the length, and they do that sometimes. But he was guarding Braden Smith, and it wasn't the other way around. And that stuff should matter. There's 2 sides of the basketball court, and he was better than Braden Smith in that game. Wagler's been fantastic, but in terms of point guard, and Fears is there, and DeCourcy just missed on this one. To your first point, and the idea that next year is the rubber match between fighting for the soul of college basketball with Dusty May and Izzo. I don't think May sees it like that. Maybe Izzo does, but I don't think Dusty May puts that sort of thought into it. It will be interesting to see both guys, though, trying to continue this, right? For Izzo, you've got a chance to have a really special team next year if you're able to keep guys, in a day and age where guys can leave, if you're able to get back the key guys that you want back. And that begins with Jeremy Fears. And then you're also able to, adequately recruit and add to the center position. If you're Dusty May, year over year, you got a lot of guys to replace. Morez Johnson probably in this draft. Yaxel in this draft. You got real key guys. You got to do it again this way. And it's a hard thing to do over and over. And some years will be better than others. Now, they do have immense resources. But, yeah, no, I think that's a good narrative for us. I don't think that either guy. I certainly don't think Dusty May is thinking of it that way.
Daniel R. Patterson next. MSU Hoops is finding their groove and will beat Michigan this week because they're hungry. With all of its strong teams, the Big Ten tournament means more this year, and MSU's ready to win it. And bonus, get your trip set now to cheer on MSU hockey at the Frozen Four in Las Vegas, April 9th through 11th. Go Green.
Yeah, Vegas for the Frozen. I hate that it's in Vegas, but whatever.
Let's go Green. Go God.
I mean, it's not the worst place in the world. I enjoy Vegas for a couple of days. It's just, why is the Frozen Four in Vegas? I know they got a nice arena and all that. Just
because they have hotels.
Put it in Minnesota or North Dakota. Let's have some fun. Let's go to a cool place,
dude. Yeah. David Jackson, that an MSU fan site knows more about the dirt on Michigan State athletics than the Detroit media or seemingly the Michigan athletic director is unfathomable. Fuck
close. Yeah.
Has Xavier Simpson returned the Ward Manuel's car yet and baked? The next time Solari calls the Big Ten tournament the Big Ten Championship, Couch is going to physically assault Chris.
He did it again in the video, and the look I had from I corrected him on the spot. It's not.
I will.
It's a good bit.
It's not cool. Anyway, David's referencing the Spiro report on the Michigan former assistant defensive line coach who's with the Falcons and
Spiro Mancarini.
There's some really sick stuff in that and those text exchange. It's not great, and it led to the guy losing his job. So it was good work by him. Now I don't think that Ward Manuel should know that stuff. Spiro, I think, is pretty tied in with some Michigan people and has worked those sources, and he's obviously, I think, pretty motivated on that stuff. But I don't think people are sitting on it. I don't think Tony Garcia, who's white, by the way,
welcome to the blue wall,
is sitting on it.
I love how that's his nickname.
Yeah.
Oh, coming from a white guy. Couch on fire. If you're betting the Big Ten tournament, there hasn't been a 1 versus 2 seed final in the last 17 tournaments. And bonus, I was really surprised how much difficulty the Spartan hockey team had against Ohio State. It was disappointing, but they've also been better on the road. Weird.
Really interesting point, though, on the first bit, that 1 versus 2 hasn't played in the Big Ten tournament in the last 17 tournaments. It's sort of like a tennis tournament. If you're like me and you follow these 500 events, 1,000 events, 250 events, which is like these smaller tournaments outside of the majors, there have been a lot of times that no seeded player has made the final in 5 years, or no one-seeded player, and that speaks to the level of motivation in the event, right? They're there for a paycheck and appearance fee. They're there to get something done to prepare for another week, and that's sort of what the Big Ten tournament is. It's different things to different people, different years, and Matt Painter said it pretty well the other day. He said it once on the post game when they won the Big Ten and they were sort of ready to not have a long run there. Izzo's had those moments too. It's not that it's not a cool event. It's not that it doesn't have meaning if you win it and you want it to have meaning. It does. It absolutely does. It's not that it's not hard to do. It's not as hard as the regular season. And it's not that it's not a championship that you can raise a banner for. The Big Ten championship, though, is spelled out as the Big Ten champions. That banner is not something you raise if you win the Big Ten tournament. It says tournament champions. So he doesn't say regular season champions. It says Big Ten champions if you're in the regular season. It just is what it is. But that's an interesting point.
Tim, Couch's reasons the regular season means more than tourney. Number 1, teams have different motivations. You say this as if the regular season isn't the same. Some teams you play only 1x on the road, etc. 2, the committee doesn't factor in Sunday results. There is 100% a contingency bracket.
To some degree, there is a contingency. Yeah, there is if it's needed. But they've said it bluntly that they don't. But it's not even a matter of opinion. I mean, we could say the NBA Cup in November, whenever that's played, is a better way to is a cooler event, and that title means more. But it doesn't. The NBA championship's the NBA championship, right? It is just the Big Ten championship is the regular season, and just because one, or some programs that have had some success in the Big Ten tournament have enjoyed that and have, and have wanted that to be what it is, doesn't make it what it is, right? And the ACC now is different. The ACC wastes 2 months. The grind that's so hard to do. And this is why Duke wants to play Michigan in the regular season in December, or in January and February, because they're just wasting time for 2 months waiting for the ACC tournament, which is where they crown their official champion. The banner in the Big Ten is from the regular season. That is the official champion. It just is what is. I just think there are more teams, more top teams in the Big Ten tournament that have less desperation and motivation and grind to them than they do in the regular season. And that's been talked about by coaches over time. And then you just have the situation, what is. The banner for the Big Ten championship is for the regular season. And part of the problem is you have the BTN propaganda pushing something else because of a TV thing, and those fuck sticks are not making it any easier, and that annoys me too.
Big Ten Plus is out.
But it again, what is what is.
Luis Baez next. Does any other Big Ten team get thrown the zone defense as often as MSU? It seems like the team has been defending it well as of late.
I'm sure there are some, but Michigan State has struggled with it at times. The last, the game against was a game where they were really good at the top of the. I'm blanking now, but there was a game where they were really good at the top of the free throw line and top of the key there, out of the zone. They've gotten better at it, which is they were not very good for a while, and they don't practice it because it's not. They practice against it, but it's not who they are. It's not at all in their DNA, and I think that affects them to some degree.
TT next. PSA, we all have subscription fatigue, so as a reminder, you can now cancel your Peacock subscription. Sorry, media men.
Well, unless you like the Chicago PD, or
right,
you like Premier League, which is also there. So there are a lot of reasons to have. I actually think that Peacock is one of the better subscription services out there, better offerings.
Jay Riemenschneider projected NCAA Tournament 2 seed teams, Illinois, Purdue, Houston, Iowa State, Gonzaga, and Kansas all have slipped lately and could push MSU up a seed, unless those teams are just hands down perceived better than MSU, which truthfully shouldn't be the case.
Houston is, first of all, losing a conference road game should only drop you so far. Like, I know Gonzaga plays a weak schedule, and because of that, they have to be punished when they lose. But St. Mary's is really good. They lost at a tough place on the road on Saturday night. Like, that shouldn't kill you. A lot of people, Michigan State would lose at St. Mary's sometimes if they were in that league, right? And so that has to be something that's kept in mind. I think Houston's really good. Purdue is the one that the follow to the loss to Michigan State by losing at Ohio State. That, and I know they've had a good overall resume, but that really stands out. And Purdue is doing, Michigan State usually has this swoon in February. Purdue seems to be having it right now, which is concerning.
Matt C. Jeff Kohler needs to call out his kid on X more. We need the 20-10 Kohler if MSU wants to get to a Final Four. And bonus, Izzo should sue the NCAA and get Wilkerson to play 2-guard for us in March. We'll even give them Trey Fort.
Start making trades right before the tournament, and Wilkerson would be a nice player. I mean, that's the type of 2-guard I think people wanted for MSU. He's a really nice player, and he's unfortunately being wasted at Indiana where they don't have enough around him. Kohler, if Kohler makes open shots and rebounds the way he did with 13 rebounds the other day, it makes Michigan State a lot more formidable.
Scotty Green's El Camino. If Tang, Kohler, Fears, and Scott are all hitting threes, we will be in a very tough out in March. But I have a lot of concern that our bigs are better at jump shots than finishing at the basket. So many missed shots close to the basket. Things that had a bad week. Any chair couch sat on after pounding cookies and cream at Bismarck's. Purdue basketball, famous chicks on Ozempic, and that dude in Iran.
What happened to famous chicks on Ozempic?
Kelly Osbourne was at some British award show. She looks scary. She looks like a skeleton.
Oh.
Her and her mom, Sharon Osbourne.
Don't lose too much weight.
Dude, it's just really creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she looks very. I think that's what he's talking about.
Okay. Yeah. But we've talked about this chair. This chair is not all the work of me.
Zion was a big deal because he was a huge guy, and I just broke my chair.
It is
sweet. The national championship's on. Oh, I can't wait for this. It just happens. I just broke my chair for real. This is not good.
The second one's my favorite.
You got to say, worst assignment of any chair is to have me, Ebling, and MPS, Michael Patrick Shields, and it'd be the same. We ought to rotate. We ought to put a different chair.
Throw a new chair in there.
Yeah, it's not fair for the same chair to have to handle all of us. Yeah, that's not cool.
Andrew, what number 1 seed in the tournament would you like to see MSU in the same bracket as? I'd like another crack at Duke. And bonus, my 73-year-old grandmother was lecturing me and my brother on the golf course this weekend about how bad Denim Wojcik is. And from BPA, baked angry take. If Wojcik plays even 1 minute in the tourney, when every possession matters and we lose because of it, Izzo doesn't get a statue and we should immediately rename the Izzone. To what? And from G. Quang, answering your question on Friday, Graham, yes, Denham should have stayed benched.
Yeah. If Denim Wojcik didn't exist, who would be the person people hated on the team, the fans hated?
I don't think it would be possible.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
It would be backup point guard.
Yeah.
I mean,
you gotta imagine.
It's not that there's hate involved. It's just questions of why.
Yeah, imagine he's black. That's what I mean. Sorry. Gonna go back to that.
Always.
No, but look, I don't think it's the best solution. I don't think he'd be playing either in a lot of these games if Divine Ugochukwu wasn't playing. I don't think it's as simple as other guys who aren't point guards playing point guards. Trey Fort was out there for a little bit, and I do believe if they had practiced Trey Fort for months, getting him ready for this, he probably could have handled it. But watching Trey Fort out there for a little bit, I do not see him as the better option than Wojcik. Wojcik is more natural, understanding that. Has a little more confidence even when things don't go well, and they're just trying to buy a minute or two. The question for me would really be Jordan Scott and whether that allowed you to have better lineups to steal a minute, and that was a better solution. Izzo doesn't feel that way, and I haven't seen enough of Scott in that position to counter him on that. I've only seen Wojcik, and there are some shaky moments there. There's no doubt.
Kur Teng next. The 30 for 30 on the Harbaugh tenure at Michigan is going to hit like crack and require more episodes than Jordan's last dance. Not all, but some of the local journalists should be embarrassed Spiro is running point on these stories. If they knew, they should lose all credibility.
If they knew something and they had access to have the receipts enough to write it. I mean, it's one thing to know it. It's another thing to be able to get people to talk, and Spiro has done that and gotten some receipts, and that's what allows him to go with it. But look, we've talked about the blue curtain and other things, and whether how dialed in people were on trying to look into this stuff. I don't know.
Spartholomew, watching the patience pay off with Tang finally finding it late in the season has been beautiful to behold. Just wish for depth's sake, Fort could have been given the same patience. And bonus, Michigan fans have declared their season is over because their 8th best players out for the season. Truly a pathetic basketball fan base. And bonus, story worth telling that doesn't have to make the show. And definitely won't get me a gift card, but checked out the new Shake Shack. Burger was okay, but it made my constipated 2-year-old blow heat for the first time in days so hard that she threw up in her sleep, and now I can't get the smell of vomited Shake Shack burger out of my nostrils. Why'd you leave this in?
I'm sorry.
So may have to be one and done for me.
I was actually meant to take it out and forgot. I apologize. We'll fix that in post. That's gross.
Yeah.
It's not Shake Shack's fault. It's the Constitution's fault.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. But he's basically telling you, you don't have to keep this in. It was just.
Yeah, no, I put it in there and I was like, I'm going to take that out. And then I didn't. And now we read it. So, sorry. Yeah, not great.
Hans Jurgen, number 1, the next supreme leader of Iran will be woke and make Tehran a bastion of safety for the gay community to the chagrin of Graham. And 2, Kerr's shooting brought back memories of Sean Respert. And 3, last summer I caught Graham pooping on Jack Moss's grave. Jesus. Bonus. Where will they send us for the NCAA tournament? Philly? Buffalo? St. Louis? Greenville?
My pick is Buffalo. And I think now that one of the other important things about moving to a 3 seed is you generally have better in the pecking order of where you're going to go. Like there are a bunch of teams in the Midwest, and so you do want to get ahead of Illinois. You want to get ahead of Purdue and those sort of things. But the 4 or 5 seeds often get dumped in Spokane or something like that a long way away. So if you want it to be somewhat drivable or close, I think, and there's not a ton of those this year, but I think Buffalo is in play.
Jake Hawkins, number one, great job from MSU picking up 2 crucial wins and on the road in the state of Indiana for the first time since 2013-14. I'm concerned about our three-point defense. Whenever one particular player on the opposing team gets going and gets hot, MSU will probably get put in a hole. And 2, now let's make a massacre of Rutgers at home Thursday night on senior night and perhaps maybe avenge the loss to Michigan from the end of January at their place. I like how Teng is finding confidence in his shot along with Carson Cooper. Wonder if Coop will play into being drafted. And 3, I wish I would have followed Robin Freilic's advice yesterday and gotten out to support the MSU women's basketball team and went to the game. Sucks they lost to Ohio State, and I read where an Ohio State player had 33 points in 33 minutes of play. That's ridiculous.
It's all you, Jake. You were one less fan, one less piece of noise, and they weren't.
I mean, I never want to blame the Hawk, but I got to say, Jake, that's pretty much on you.
Yeah.
If you would have showed up.
That might have been the difference.
You know,
it is amazing. The MSU women's team is the 7 seed in the Big Ten tournament, and yet the NCAA tournament selection committee did their reveal yesterday. They're a 4 seed. If, I think even losing to Ohio State, they'd be a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, probably hosting 2 rounds at Breslin.
Did they play this before the reveal? He made it sound so official.
That would be amazing if that was the NCAA tournament bracket reveal. Was that? I would appreciate that.
Finally, the jerk guy, Kur Teng, has a chance to do something incredible if he can pull it together. He's my pick as standout on the Roars to at least the Elite 8. And bonus, I came across a video of you dancing at a wedding, and you shouldn't dance.
Oh boy, I think I know what that is, but I don't know where that is. I'm not a horrible dancer.
Whose wedding?
I'm trying to remember where this video came from. Yeah.
So do you know the jerk guy?
No, but I think there's something on social media of me dancing at a wedding. Solari, somebody posted like a bit. Maybe it was my own. That can't be my own.
What?
I don't.
I want to figure that out, dude.
Yeah. I'm
dancing into wedding blows. Like, you can't really rip on people. Like, if you're going to get out there and do whatever,
Yeah. No, especially, yeah. No, I'd never, anybody who's out there on the floor, you give them credit. People have fun.
We'll talk shit on the way home, though. Like, do you see that guy out there? The whitest man alive.
Like
Does he write for the State Journal? Good Lord.
My cousin Kelly.
He shit his pants? It looks like he shit his pants.
My cousin Kelly's wedding on New Year's Eve, like my mom was out there. My Aunt Claudia. It was fun to see women in their 70s having fun, like, why not?
Dude, what song did it take to get Ma Couch out there?
She was out there the whole time. She was like fired up, knee replacement and all. She was like, this is my night. We're doing this.
Did she a finger pointer? Like, did
no,
she do the...
My wife is an elbow dancer. Like, her elbows fly. It's a little dangerous. It's like a sharp elbow in the post. It's like what Carson Cooper hit Kur Teng with, But
did she do the Elaine Bennis?
She does not. Oh, goodness.
Dude, where's this video? I need to see it.
We'll work it.
Shirt guy. Do I have to go on fucking Blue Sky for that? Fuck, I'll do it. I think I have an account still.
We will work on it.
All right.
We appreciate all of you guys. Thanks for producing our show as always, and challenging our opinions on things.
Yeah.
We appreciate Brad Hoos and Muskox. Go to gomuskox.com. And, of course, Peacock is the promo code for $15 off a flannel purchase. They also have hats and tees. A lot of good offerings. Some real good deals. Things going end-of-line flannels, things that won't be available much longer. And if you get a rate that's like 35-40% off, you can't use the $15 off, just so you're aware. So that I've had a couple people reach out. If there's a really big sale on something, you're unable to do that. But just get the flannel you want. That's all that matters. Join the Muskox community. You'll look better. You'll feel better. We'll be back Wednesday, I think. So look forward to that. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Room.